What was that? What was that?
Get out of here!
No, not the beast! Not the beast! I love my eyes!
Bees!
Welcome back, Gainers, to another incredible, exciting, fantastic episode of ComicGains! And if you're new to the show, I'm Adam.
I'm Zach, and it's the Princess of Royal Highness, looking very lovely today, just like usual, doing that princess way. You do it too, bow out, respect, and of course, don't forget, our little Coco dog, our mascot, is here with us.
The Comic Coco. Alright, guys, we just got rid of those bees out of this room. I almost got stung right on the forehead. But it's Monday. We got a brand new, exciting drop list for you. All the comic books from the previous week that are on the drop are here for the taking for you to see. And got an excellent show and a brand new drink to the show too.
Yes. Found this recently at Costco. It's Premier Protein, 30 grams of protein, 1 gram of sugar, and 25 essential vitamins and minerals. And the flavor is Cafe Latte. It has a little bit of caffeine. I think 1 cup, it says. 1 cup of coffee. I like it. I always like to stay woke. I always like to stay woke. Oh wait, I should say.
You didn't hear me.
What?
Just kidding.
I was talking to our good friends, the Gainers. Wait, where's the Gainers?
You're the Gain. They're the Gainers.
They're the Gain. I always get so confused.
We're the Gainees.
Gainees. Yeah, that's really good. It tastes like a cup of coffee with a little bit of protein and cream in it. And it hits you. 30 grams is like the perfect amount. 20 grams not enough. 30 grams, perfect.
Oh,
Perfect
32.
0.2 is the best part.
All right, guys, let's get back to the comics, which y'all came here for today. So, if you're new to our Monday show, which we call the drop list around these parts, is the ComicGains crew scours the internet for trending lists, hot lists, any kind of list that people made 1 year ago. We go back in time 1 year ago and we check out these lists and we do some investigatory journalist work and find out which of these books are on the drop and the reason why they were popular a year ago and why they might not be popular this time in 2023 of September. So and it's exciting because Zach will give you his expert opinion on which book you might want to go after and whether or not you should kind of forget these books ever existed. Every once in a while that happens, things get popular just kind of like that. What do they call it? 15 minutes of fame, and then you never get it again. But some books are on a nice roller coaster, and you got to kind of like hit the wave at the right point.
Yeah,
so to speak. So let's jump into the list here. At number 5, we got everyone's favorite Batman 497, 1993, Jim Aparo and Doug Moench. This is the Bane Breaks Batman's Back, the famous Backbreaker edition. It's also Nightfall Part 11, which is pretty cool. It's a nice series that came out in the 90s where they were trying to, after the death of Superman, they're like, hey, let's do something cool with Batman. We just killed Superman, so why don't we maybe kind of kill Batman? So they were like, hey, we'll break his back, and then we'll pass on the monocle? To Jean-Paul Valley, everyone's other favorite Batman.
Mantle.
Yeah, that makes more sense. Batman. Not the monocle. Yeah, the mantle. The mantle to, everyone's favorite Azrael, which at that point, he was kind of helping out Batman. And he would wear the Batman costume and he looked just like Batman. He would do some stuff, although he kind of liked killing people a little bit more. And then eventually he put on the claws, and he's like, okay, I got these really cool claws, but I look like Batman. And then after Batman's back got broken, then he's like, all right, I'll take over Batman. And then he put on this kind of cool, kind of ridiculous Batman outfit. I'll admit, in the 90s, I thought it was cool. Looking back on it now, it's a little weird.
Well, we all thought Power Rangers was really cool, the original series. And then you rewatch it now, it's like, oh, so cringy.
Or He-Man. He-Man's kind of cringy, too.
Oh, I haven't watched that yet.
The OG He-Man?
You ruined my childhood.
I know. But just some stuff to remember about this book. Basically what happened last year, the reason why it was trending last year is they did that 30th anniversary of the Death of Superman, which came out, and there was a bunch of cool exclusives, some con exclusives, and it took a huge jump in sales. And everyone was thinking 30 years also, Batman got his back broken. So why not do a 30th anniversary of Batman getting his back broken?
Ooh.
We didn't see it. I didn't see it unless it came out and I didn't know about it. But that's why. That's why I got the hype. And
okay.
Now it's back down. This is the smallest drop book, and Zach has some interesting facts for you on this. Keep in mind, for some reason, there's that, what do they call that? The card stock variant, which is the one we showed, and then there's a regular edition. They're almost the same in price.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're almost identical in price, but Zach will hit you with those numbers, or break you with those numbers?
I'll break you with those numbers. Price a year ago, it's the same situation. Batman was broken then and now. Then was $80 for our CGC 9.8. Now it's dropped 1 penny, $79.99.
Now's your chance.
It's a very roller coaster book because I'm gonna tell you the range. The range. This is why it's on the drop list. It's been low as $35 for 9.8, and as high as $308.
Whoa!
This book is a roller coaster. People really want this or don't really want this. It's insane. Average sale is $75. So it's so strange. So strange. It sells usually less than $75 because that's the average between the two. So I'm like, what the heck's going on? So also, it's a less than 1% drop. There's a total of 5,347 total graded. 3,000 of them and 69 are 9.8 universals. It's 57% of total graded. And as we've told you before, usually if you get a book graded and everything, usually you want the numbers to be for like best investment purposes about 25% or lower, ideally 20% or lower, but 25% or lower is pretty decent. That's where it's like, okay, the numbers are kind of in your favor. When it's 57%, I mean, you probably could just send in 10 and majority of them are going to get 9.8s. Get about like 50%, 57%. Literally 57%. So this is a classic 90s book, or this is a classic Batman book that everybody should get. I honestly think everybody should have this book because it's so iconic and so relevant, at least for my generation right now. I mean, it's awesome. It's cool seeing Batman getting his back broken, and they've homaged it so many times. Yeah, I would say get this book. Try to go towards the lower end of the 79. Try to go for like 50, 60, 70, or 50, not 70, 60 or lower. And you'll enjoy this book. I picked one up the other day, so that's why we actually had it the show. And it's awesome to have. It's great.
Good time.
Yeah.
Good times. All right. We're on to number 4, everyone's favorite flaming skull head. We got Ghost Rider number 1. We got volume 2, 1990. Howard Mackie, Javier Mackie as well.
There's a lot of Mackies.
Yeah, I can't remember if that's the right name on there. But, this is first appearance of Danny or Daniel Ketch, however you want to say it. The second Ghost Rider. It's also the first appearance of Death Watch, a demonic entity, and it's pretty cool. There's been a lot of speculation about who's going to be the new Ghost Rider in the MCU. Obviously, we saw our good friend Nicolas Cage played the original Ghost Rider in 2 volumes, actually. And I will tell you, I very much enjoyed Ghost Rider number 1. It was actually really good. Number 2 was weird as heck. But there's something there, there's something. But number 1 was really good. That was really true to form. I think they kept that. And you got to see Sam Elliott play the original Ghost Rider, which was cool on the horse, where they did it together. That was really fun. I thought that was really good. And a lot of people want to know whether or not he's going to come back and play Ghost Rider again in the MCU. As a huge comic book fan, I would guess he wants to play Ghost Rider again.
That would be cool.
Last year at this time, they had some fan artwork and some speculation that Norman Reedus from The Walking Dead, everyone's favorite Daryl, people were suspecting he might be Danny Ketch in the MCU. So I would love to see you guys in the comments tell me who's your favorite Ghost Rider. There's quite a few of them. We've got our good friend Robbie Reyes as well. I would say from my own personal experience, the original Ghost Rider, Johnny Blaze, his stories were very cookie cutter. We were kind of talking about Power Rangers a while ago. Kind of similar to that, like the same thing happens in each story. And once Danny shows up is when his story starts to get really good. The story really starts to blossom into like something different. So it could go any way. I would actually prefer to see Nicolas Cage come in and kind of pass the mantle and maybe be the MCU's first Ghost Rider, be Danny Ketch, and still have him play Johnny Blaze and be like, hey, I was Ghost Rider before. Here, you can have the spirit of vengeance. And that's kind of like the MCU's like MO, is like bring in some really famous actor as kind of like a side character to help kind of, push our main character in the right direction. So I could totally see that happening. In fact, I expected to see it. But great book. Zach will hit you with those numbers, though, because it's a year later. Might be your time. Might be your chance.
Right? Danny Chance. Flame on. Flame off. No, that's the Human Torch. All right, so prices a year ago for this awesome book, this flame-catching book, is $335 for a CGC 9.8 direct edition. Now $237. Not too bad. Range 164 to 520. Average sales $258. It's a 29% drop, but that's not too bad. There's 3,565 total graded. 839 of them are 9.8s for the direct edition. That's 23%. Like we said, if it's 25% or lower, ideally 20, but 25% lower or lower in the total that's graded, that's pretty good. These numbers are very good. It's an all black cover, basically, at least on the edges, so that it's a lot harder to get it a 9.8. I will say that your chances of the book going to be more valuable if it has a key and it's a black cover or a darker cover. If you get a 9.8, I think it will always have a certain surplus in price, because it's so hard to get a book that has black cover, black edges, to get a 9.8, because you can see any defect from a mile away. I would say this is a fantastic 90s books to get. You want to get this book, you want to get the first appearance of Harley Quinn, you want to get the first Deadpool, all of the books that are in the 90s, this should be a part of it that you want to get. So yeah, I think this is a decent price to get it at. You could wait, you could try to find some copies in the wild, send them in for 9.8, but I do think you need this book. I think this is a great investment book.
Be on the lookout for that newsstand edition too.
Oh yeah,
that's a good one. That's even better if you got that newsstand. I bet the numbers are even lower. All right, let's get into everyone's favorite firecracker. We've got number 3, Uncanny X-Men 244, 1989. This could be one of those books you need to get too, right?
Yeah,
close to that time period. We got Mark Silvestri doing the cover on this one. I didn't know that until we did this. It was kind of fun. Chris Claremont writing the story. And first appearance of Jubilee, the Chinese-American teenager who can shoot fireworks from her fingers. There's a lot of stuff going for Jubilee. I mean, she basically got famous because of the 90s, everyone's favorite 90s X-Men cartoon, which they kind of basically took other characters' storylines and adapted it to Jubilee to use her as the character in there, because it's more like Rogue storyline or Kitty Pryde storyline. Both of those were kind of like our point of view characters in the 70s, and they were both the younger characters who joined the X-Men kind of in the beginning and got their like feet wet figuring out how the team works and stuff like that. For some reason in the cartoon they decided to use Jubilee. She looks cool. She pops a lot of bubble gum and does some fun stuff. However, we haven't seen her much in the movies. We got a little taste of Jubilee in a few of the movies, but hardly any speaking role. You basically were like, there she is. That's that iconic yellow trench coat that she wears that we all know and love. And I think we're going to see her more. I think and that's kind of the reason why it was hot last year with Disney taking over the X-Men and Fox Studios and stuff like that. People are like, who are they going to use? And we know with the X-Men cartoon coming back, Jubilee's going to be there again. She's a, huge fan favorite as Wolverine's kind of little pal in the cartoon. Obviously, like I said, he had different little pals in the comics.
Yeah, a lot of pals.
Yeah.
Shadowcat. Yeah,
Shadowcat, Kitty Pryde for sure. But if you haven't been following her lately, I think in 2010, she turned into a vampire, which was kind of the cool storyline. I think she was a vampire for a while, right? Quite a while, which was fun. And then even more recently in the Krakoan age, she is now part of Excalibur. They invited her to join the Excalibur team, which is pretty cool. So we'll see how that turns out. And always This, like I said, this and 266 are probably the last two big keys from X-Men in a long time to come out. So those are your more affordable books to grab. But
don't forget about 221.
That's true as well. The Sinister Gains.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was sparkling, dazzling, almost dazzling, not quite, but sparkling a year ago for CGC 9.8, $340. Pretty dang good for this book. Now, it's kind of sputtered out a little bit, not as shiny at $225 for a 9.8. Range $200 to $375. Average sales $269. Ha ha. It's a 34% drop. There's 6,268 total graded. There's 1,264 that's universal 9.8. That's a 20% of the total. So that's really good. So
I need a 9.8 in this book.
Yeah. That's not
we all do.
Usually I'm talking about the direct editions because we got way more data on direct editions than newsstands.
They only just started kind of differentiating them too recently on through CGC and the other companies where they're putting newsstand in there, which they do that now, which is nice, but it still kind of convolutes the older numbers.
Yes. You have to get your stuff regraded if you want that actual. If you have a newsstand, you have to get it regraded if you got it. Like 5 or 10 years ago.
They should do something where they make it really cheap, like $10 to get a new slab or something like that. That way they can update their numbers. You get the nice looking slab and it doesn't cost you a whole lot.
Yeah, exactly. I'm
telling you, CGC, you should do it that way.
I got a bunch of books I got to get regraded, but that's beside the point. So I would say this is a fantastic book to get. They're going to put someone in this role that's like perfect, going to be fun, going to like take on the essence of the 90s animated TV show, and that's what the fans want. They want that essence, they want that same feeling from then to now, and the right actress and the right character design, ideally, hopefully the 90s, and the energy. They want the energy, they want that, and I think that book will, or that person that they'll put into this role will make this book skyrocket. I think $225 is a fantastic price for a 9.8. I would say try to get it signed too, make that little bit of extra specialness to it. Yeah, I think this is a fantastic pickup at this price point, and I have to consider getting it myself.
Princess might have to consider cosplaying Jubilee. She hasn't done that yet, I don't think. She'll have to find a yellow trench coat. That would be hard to find, that big old yellow trench coat.
Expensive.
Yeah. All right, guys. If you made it this long, you made it to number 2, and we got X-Men back to back to back. Actually, just back to back. We got Uncanny X-Men 123 from 1979. If you're asking yourself, what the heck is Uncanny X-Men 123? Well, John Byrne wrote and did the artwork for this book back in 1979. And when he did it back then, he drew this cover of Storm getting out of the shower and blow drying her hair. And when they printed it in the comic, you could not see her nipple. And when they redid this comic for digital, they put into high resolution. And we'll be careful. We're going to show you a picture of this, but we might have to blur it out a little bit. The high res actually showed you Storm's nipple, which, you know how that goes. So if you're reading this digitally on your computer, you could see Storm's nipple. But back in 1979, you could not. So sorry about you guys 40, 50 years ago. 40 years ago, you didn't get to see that. But this popped off last year. With a lot of things, there's been a lot of weird nudity things in the last few years. You got Batman Damned. You got to see Batman. You got to see Bruce Wayne's member. The infamous Spider-Man Reigns story where his webbing gave Mary Jane cancer. So, which is kind of,
It's a little on the nose.
Yeah. So just some stuff. But last year, this book got really hot because Storm looked hot. And it's a little bit on the drop list, but it's still a nice book to pick up.
That last thing he said was like giving me a lot of like Dr. Manhattan vibes from The Watchmen.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you gave all your friends cancer. Congratulations.
And then this one, he just gave one person cancer.
Just one. Suspicious. Well, anyways, prices a year ago for this nipply book. It was all perky. At 9.8 was $369.
Well,
now it's a little warmer out. It's you put on a bra and all kinds of coverings, and now it's $202 for a 9.8. Range $200 to as high as $369. A year ago, it was at its highest point. Average sales 300. It's a 45% drop. There's 1,633 total graded.
Wow.
Only 263 are
Whoa!
9.8 universal. It's a 16% of the
And it's
total.
only 200 for a 9.8?
Only 200.
Dang.
Yummy. I mean, yeah, so it's a pretty decent book. It's not a major key, but I could see this book just because of the oops factor. People could be going after it a lot more. Like, for example, She-Hulk 40. Is it Sensational She-Hulk 40, I think. Yeah, Sensational She-Hulk 40, where they show the jump rope and she's naked, and they're like, oh, this is a good story. And they're like, I think we might have made a mistake. It's like one of those oops.
Wait, I thought this was a kid's book.
Me too. But one of those oops moments can cause books like this to go crazy high. It's hit or miss sometimes, like Alf. But that was hit. Honestly, that was messed up. But anyways, these oops books can garner high prices. So this book might be a decent book to invest in for $200 for John Byrne run original book for $200. That's pretty decent.
Yeah.
Again, ideally, I'd want to get this book signed too. But at the same time, it's old enough where you probably don't need to make it super special.
I'm going to get mine signed by Halle Berry.
Oh. Yeah. So I would say get this book. It's not a bad price at all at $200, and yeah, we'll see what happens in the near future.
There we go. There you go. You heard it here first. All right, guys. You made it all the way to the end, so you get the number 1 dropped book of the week. And this one was surprising because it goes very much along with the number 5 book, almost identical. And one was 5 and one was 1, and the drop's going to be hugely different. But we got Superman 75, also from 1993. This is the Dan Jurgens artwork and story, and this is the infamous or famous Death of Superman, where Superman gets killed by Doomsday. And just a really cool story. I know I was reading comics at this time. I remember getting the collected edition and reading through this whole story, and it kind of blew my mind. I always thought the story was done really well. I guess the way DC figured this out, it was a joke that they were kind of like, hey, let's just kill Superman one of these days. And they're like, oh, yeah, whatever. And then finally, like, what are we going to do for the story? He's like, well, we could kill Superman. And they're like, okay, let's do that. So, so the story just kind of led up to it. And, a little known story, or a little funny thing about this book as well is every page in this issue is either a full or double splash page for the entire issue, which is cool. They also sold over 6 million copies sold. It's probably one of the books that helped the downfall of comics.
I was just thinking,
where they were like, these are all going to be collector's editions. Your mom and dad's like, get to the store and get your Death of Superman. He's got the newspaper clipping. He's got the armband inside it. Like, everybody was out there, trying to get this book. And just overall cool story leading up to it. You got to see the crappy Justice League International get their butts whooped. I think that was what Guy Gardner, Blue Beetle, Booster Gold, Maxima, Fire and Ice, and everyone's favorite Bloodwind.
Yeah, I like Ice. She's
what about Fire? Just Ice.
I like Fire too, but I think
they were like, "Hey, we're here to help," and then they just get their faces smashed, and definitely Guy Gardner got stomped.
Yeah,
he got stomped for sure. Really bad. But reason, like I said before, this book got hot last year is they did a 30-year anniversary of Superman's death, and everyone popped off these 2022 reprints, and some of the big ones. You had the New York City Comic-Con red foil, which looked awesome. There was a pink foil one, which is even more awesome, and the Elucid Platinum foil, which was even the highest of awesomeness. Pretty cool, though. I think they were like shiny covers with the Superman symbol kind of bloody coming down from, I believe. Something along those lines. Cool. Princess would be the more expert on these New York City Comic-Con exclusives. But if you're asking yourself from the original one, which would be the most rare, I would say it's the third print newsstand, I think is the most rare. I don't know if there is a DC Universe version of this book. There might be. DC Universe is so weird, you just don't know. Yeah. But I believe the third print newsstand is the one you want to go after which is still not even that expensive. I think it's like a $30-$40 book in the raw. But Zach, hopefully this book doesn't die again.
Yeah, he was alive and well, kinda, a year ago for a CGC 9.8, $230, and then, again, he died. Sadly, he died again. You can get a 9.8 for $93, right? Range $77 to $275. Average sell is $154. It's a 60% price drop. There's 3,965 of them total graded. There's 1,253 in a 9.8 universal. Average sell, or not average sell, that's 32% of total graded.
It's lower than I thought.
It's a little bit lower. Remember, it's kind of like a dark cover kind of.
Yeah. So paper quality wasn't that good either.
Paper quality wasn't that good. Honestly, if you can get this book for super cheap, get it. But the rarer the better. If you get the rarest one, that'd probably be better. But this copy specifically, covering everything, I don't know. I just want to shoot it to the moon. I don't want to see it ever again.
I like the cover. Superman's cape is like the flag.
Anyways, I don't think it's a cool book to have in your collection. If you have it, that's pretty cool. If you want to get it, that's pretty cool. Investment purposes, I think it's going to lose value.
6 million copies sold.
I think it's a lose value in your collection. So if you want this book, just get it raw. Pay a couple bucks for it, maybe $10, depending on what's going on. If it's a rare third printing, probably a little bit more. But don't expect this to retire on it. It's a good book.
Dang it, I was going to retire on it.
I got 1,000 copies. So
number one pick.
I can't be biased. I want to say 244, but it's actually the Ghost Rider one. I think the Ghost Rider one and the 9.8 ideally want to get signed. But a 9.8 book will probably give you your most gains that you probably can out of this entire list. I think it will be even more expensive than the X-Men 244 or the X-Men 123. Any of these books. I think it will be very expensive in the future. Try to get one that's signed by the artist, the writer, somebody, maybe even Stan Lee, if you can find him ever sign the book and someone willing to sell it. I would say this would be a fantastic book to put in your collection for what you like and for investment purposes. I think that book is the one you want to get out of this list, out of all the dropped.
I think Howard Mackey even just wrote. They just put out a series where he is still writing Danny Ketch. They just did that new Danny Ketch series. Howard Mackey's writing that. Yeah, it's crazy because he wrote the original one.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So get your Howard Mackey signature on that.
I think you should.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, Ghost Rider's Daniel Ketch has led a lot more of his own books than Jubilee has.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's true.
Solo titles for sure.
Yes. I think you'll be happy with your return ROI, return on investment.
There you go. All right, guys, that's gonna wrap up the drop list for the first week in September. Woo! And if you love hearing these lists as much as we love delivering them every week to you guys, do us a huge favor and hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Hit the notification bell so you always know when we're going to be on. Because we do go live on Wednesday. We'd love to see all you guys there to chat with and hang out. Wednesday is just an awesome, awesome hangout. This week we're opening up some brand new J. Scott Campbell mystery boxes. Oh. He has his spotlight artist box, which we've never opened before on the show. It might be the first time you'll ever see it as well. So come kick it with us on Wednesday. And leave a comment down below. I want to know who your favorite Ghost Rider is and whether you'd like to see Nicolas Cage back again as Ghost Rider. And Zach, you got anything else?
Yeah, sure. How you do that is you have to play video games, guys. But play responsibly. Maybe an hour a day. 2 hours, most. And you play the games, and then all of a sudden you're sucked into the game. And you're living the game, you're fighting the game, and this and that, you have a good time. You're meeting friends that are kind of like NPCs, I guess, but they're very interactive. And you get all that, and you tell them, don't forget to check out ComicGains when you get into the real world. That's how you get like Tron gains. I don't know. That's not even a real movie. But anyways, Tron is. But what I just described was just a basic, enter a video game, get in there, and then we get thousands and thousands and thousands of subscribers from the game. We need subscribers, guys.
Make sure if you get
Tell your
sucked into
friends.
Jumanji, tell them all.
Tell them all.
all.
ComicGains?
Yeah.
Sure, I'll watch them and subscribe.
All right, guys. Until we see you next time, stay safe and remember,
Get those Jumanji gains.
get those giant-sized games.
And Tron gains.